used in exchange of that. Handkerchief, mirrors, and etc. So they took these Africans down to their country or down to the diaspora to work on their plantation. And this trade lasted for over 500 years. That was really crazy. However, in the blink of that, some set of guys came up to fight for the emancipation of Africans' freedom. The likes of Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and many more. Good 18, within a short period of time, they were able to secure Africans' freedom. But it didn't end there. The second time African came into the global space was at the peak of World War II, when the leader of the Nazi movement, popularly known as Adolf Hitler, stood up to say that he wants to destroy every soul in Africa so that Africa would be a land for agriculture. Within this period, some set of guys stood up again to fight against that. The likes of Winston Churchill, representing the UK, and of course America, stood up to stop the Nazis movement. Thank God they won, and luckily Africa survived. Now, these are few of the trauma Africa has really gone through in history. But then what seems to be the worst of Africa's problem?
Hi, good evening everyone. Welcome to another section of the Entreprenuers Hangout. And it's a time for us to learn from people that have gone before us and people that are doing amazing stuff in the community, in the country, and the world at large. So today it's my privilege to have with us a certified personality development coach, right? Yeah. One of the foremost coaches we have in this community. And he's doing amazing work. He has been able to change the life of so many young adults. And it's my privilege to also have on board Mr. Should I call you Mr. Ambassador Young? Okay, so I'll just say it's my pleasure to have Ambassador Young Anyanwu.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'll quickly read his profile. Ambassador Young Anyanwu is a practitioner of personality development and life coach. He's the CEO and the founder of the foremost and fastest growing international personality development company emerging from Ajegunle, known as ICPD, International Center for Personality Development. He's a certified results practitioner of Neuro-Linguistic programming, Neuro-Cognitive, Consonance, family system coach, child psychology, sex and addiction recovery, therapy, Neurological, Repatterning, results, technology, and Ericksonian hypnosis. Really? You do hypnosis?
Yeah.
Okay. He's famed as the award-winning school dropout for reinventing his life when he was rusticated for fake admission. Issues about 4 years of study as an applied biochemist by healing from suicidal thoughts and anchoring on his newfound love, personality development. Ambassador Young, as he's fondly called, is the principal resource person of #ICPD, the host of the popular Rising Community Development Conference, Ajegunle Step Up Conference, and one of the 4 core pioneers of the new Ajegunle project, starting with the responsibility of designing all the content driving the movement as a personality development strategist. He's the author of Beyond the Classroom, where he shared the story of his journey of recovery from suicidal thoughts. You can get a free copy on this website. I'll be sharing that in the course of the program. Is a recognition award recipient with Ajegunle Fashion and Design Week 2017 as the CEO and principal coach of the official personality development training brand for the models during the faculty for 2 years in a row. A Hall of Fame member for Success in Leadership Conference after being conferred with a leadership award as a fast-rising personality development coach for his contribution to youth development in Nigeria. Whoa, the profile is long. He was also awarded as one of the top 50 young people in 2016 who has immensely contributed to youth and community development at the last 10 years in the city of Ajegunle. Once a columnist with Inside Ajeremi Ipelodun and Lagos Beat newspaper, and has been featured on several blogs. He keeps inspiring and raising folks both as a friend and mentor. is currently based in Lagos, Nigeria. I think after this, we're supposed to clap for him. So please welcome on board Ambassador Young Anyanwu.
Thank
you so much for honoring our invite.
I'm so elated to be here. Thank you for having me too.
Okay, so going through your profile, one of the key things I noticed, one is long. Two, I love the fact that all your achievements, you're able to, put it all into it. And I can see you've achieved so many things. And I just want you to tell us about yourself and your journey so far into the limelight.
Okay. I would say that my story is not so much of it's a sweet, sour story, sweet story as it were. But I like sharing it as it is because it has inspired a lot of people. Yesterday too, I was meeting someone for the first time and I shared a bit of my story and it inspired me so much. So I'm going to share with you. Basically, I like starting from 2013 when I journeyed back to Lagos from Enugu State University. At the time, I usually say that I was broke and I was heartbroken. But for me, I was broke financially. I was heartbroken emotionally. I was in a state of depression.
Girlfriend?
No, not girlfriend.
Because I think that's the question a lot of us want to know.
It had nothing to do with girlfriend. Okay, I'll get to it actually. Okay, at the time I just finished from the university, and I was supposed to be serving. I was supposed to be going for service in preparation for my final year clearance and all of that. However, I was rusticated for fake admission.
Wow.
So for me, at that time, I was 15 when I wrote my final year paper. 15 when I wrote, my WAEC senior secondary school examination when I finished secondary school. I wrote JAMB straight and I gained admission into school. So for me, I told myself that at 19 I wanted to be a graduate. And at 19 I had written my final year paper. So when I wrote my final year paper at the age of 19, I told myself that I was going to be a PhD holder at 26 at worst. So I had dreams, I had goals, I had things that I was pursuing for my life. Not to forget, I grew up in a community where a lot of young people did not see that as the goal thing to do. Do you understand? And a lot of people laughed at me back then in my community, in my street. They used to call me Uncle T. T actually was for the word Toto. Toto was a girl actually in my area who was more like an imbecile. Her name is Toto. So they started calling me Uncle T, Uncle Toto, because they felt like I was being stupid with my pursuit for education.
Wow.
So they were making mockery of me, but I was focused on what I wanted to achieve. So I told myself that at 19 I wanted to be a BSc holder so that I'll be one of the youngest graduates in my community. So you see, at the time when I was rusticated from university, it means that a lot of my dreams had crashed.
Sorry to cut you short. What was your goal in having the fact that you wanted to graduate at 19? What did you have in mind? Did you want to prove something to yourself, or you wanted to prove something to the community?
Okay, it wasn't about myself and the community. I happen to have loved reading biographies and how people set records. I wanted to set a record. I wanted to be different. I wanted to just be out of the... I wanted not to be in the status quo. I didn't want to be like every other person. So for me, it was about being the different person. It was like being the single person in the crowd who could make that difference.
You wanted to stand out.
Yes, I wanted to be like a standard for others. I wanted my life to be an example, a source of inspiration to many people. So that was the drive for me. I wasn't doing it to prove to anybody. I just believed that even though I was in Ajegunle, there was more to me. And I saw a lot of young people in that state where they were living their life like there was nothing to write home about, and I didn't want to be in that place. So I felt like I could be a means of inspiration to some of these people and make them know that you can do something, you can move up, you can achieve more, you can upscale the dream, and that was what it was for me. So at the time when I was coming back from school without a certificate, it meant that I had lost a lot. So at that point, I was contemplating suicide.
I'll come in right now. Aside from the fact that we're going to talk about your suicidal journey, when you were coming back home, what was your thought? How did you feel your parents were going to take it? How did you feel your mom was going to take it? An average African mom believes education is the key. I shouldn't even use moms alone. I think parents generally in our society we capital that, oh, as far as you have good education, you're able to get to certain level. So how did you feel she would take it at that point in time? Or your parents?
Okay. I lost my father in 200 level.
Wow.
And so I was barely managing to short school. My mother believed in me a lot. My elder sister had dropped admission twice, hoping that when I come out, I would sponsor the family.
Oh.
So everybody was depending on me at the time. My mom was doing a cleaning job with cherry noodles, to be able to, make ends meet and see how she can support me through school, sustain family and all that. So if my dad was alive, I probably would have committed suicide because I would not have been able to face him. But I felt like I could face my mom. I could soft pedal her. I could make her begin to understand that these things happen. I could give her hope again because I felt like I could talk her into believing that there was more to me than my certificate. So I braced up to it. I braced up to the challenge. It was the fact on ground. Secondly, I could not have committed suicide because I know that if anything happened to me, it would take a function of 2 weeks or less, and my mom would be gone. Because I'm an only son. So it was a lot. So there was a lot that was at stake. A lot was at stake. So I considered my mom too. That's one of the reasons why I didn't commit suicide. And I felt like I could talk her up into it. As far as I'm alive, she's going to have hope. She knows I'm very intelligent and very smart. I'll cook up something for her. And I was able to come back and start pursuing some dreams that were big enough to inspire her. And so she supported me. And that was how we were able to start off.
One of the things I read in your profile was you were able to get over the point of suicide. In a lot of youth, we have an increased rate of depression right now, where you hear people jumping off the bridge and stuff. So I think it's a very fantastic process. How were you able to get away from that? Because being someone that has taught that he has school for people that have been through the tertiary university, it can be quite devastating. Your mates are leaving school. You're all planning, final year, go rock camp. Do you understand? And then you now go like, I don't understand. I'm not graduating myself. How were you able to, get up that bad energy and then turn it into something that made you get so much accolades?
Okay. One of the things I did at that point in my life was that I took a major risk. I was supposed to do my clearance. It's about 70-something thousand naira that was sent to me. I knew my mom went through hell to gather that money. But I knew that school wasn't working again. But I didn't want to tell her not to send the money. Because she was going to start asking, why should I send the money? I didn't want to tell her what.
Okay, you knew from your first year?
No. I knew in my final year when she sent the money for clearance. Okay. I didn't want to tell her not to send the money. Even though
she will ask questions.
Yeah, she was going to ask questions. Okay, so when the money came in, I looked at the money and I said, what do I do right now? So I wanted to start a business. I wanted to do something that would help me so that she's not absolutely disappointed. So while I was thinking of what to do, a conference came up in Abuja. It was for 1,000 outstanding young persons, strictly leaders who were doing things already. So they were to send their profile and be selected. And then the people that were selected will pay 10,000 naira to access the training. I was having a Transcorp Hilton in Maitama, Abuja. So I submitted my profile. At the time, I was already into helping a lot of people in school. I was like a mentor to a lot of people. So
personality development?
Yes, more like, but I didn't call it personality development then. I've always loved helping people become more productive. So it's how I was wired from childhood. I've always been in that place where I'm always helping. So people are always looking up to me for issues, always asking questions, and I was always in a place to answer, especially relationship issues, even people that were quite older than I was at the time. So I've always helped people become more productive with their life in different areas. So at that time, I looked at it, I just calmed down, compiled the profile of all the things I've been able to do, and then I forwarded it, and I was accepted as one of the 1,000 inspiring young Nigerians that could attend the conference. So I paid the 10,000 naira and I took off to Abuja. I spent altogether, feeding, transportation and all that, it took me about 30,000 naira from the 70,000 naira that I was preparing to do clearance with. And so I went to Abuja. So when I went to Abuja, I was inspired beyond my imagination. So that inspiration turned a lot of my negative energy into positive energy. I saw buildings that I had not seen before. I saw a lot of things. The environment looked different. And at some point I began to ask myself, I'm sure the people that have these things don't have two heads. They're human beings like me. If they could do this, I can do it. And so at the conference, I was telling myself that I'm one of the youngest graduates there. No matter what has happened in school, I was, trying to encourage myself until we had a breakout session. And in my session, there was this young lady, Zainab by name, I would never forget. And so Zainab stood up to introduce herself, and she said she's currently serving. She's 19, same age with me at the time.
Wow.
And she has a company, she does this, that. And I was shocked beyond wit.
Here I am, just frustrated from school, and there's someone that is already setting getting a record I want to have at that point in time.
In fact, at that moment I asked myself, she's serving, she doesn't have her results yet. How did she set up her company? She didn't need her BSc to do that. I didn't need my BSc to do anything. That was the for me. That was the turning point for me. That's why I can never forget Zainab's name. Even though I may never have seen her since then.
Shout out to Zainab,
yeah,
wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Ambassador Young is grateful for your sharing
that
your experience.
moment of sharing.
Exactly.
Yes. And so after that, when we finished for that day, it was a 2 days conference. We stepped out. I made friends with her, and she gave me her business card. I was intimidated. I looked at her business card for like hours. I still have her business card till today. For heaven's sake, why would I reach out to her?
I think
Seriously, I think I'm going to do that.
Happen at the Entreprenuers Hangout. So please do reach out to her.
Amazing.
And we want to hear the story of how your reconciliation comes back together.
You, I really have to do that. And so I looked at her business card for a while and I asked myself, what's holding me back? I began to realize that I had internal demons, like I like to call it, or self-limiting thoughts that were holding me back, because I felt like without my certificate I was nothing. And so that day I asked myself a question which I have been proving till today. So I would say my life is in a journey of proving the question I asked myself on that day. And that question is, Young, can you not be anything without a certificate, a BSc certificate? So I was all out to prove that I could be anything I want to be, with or without a BSc certificate. And that was how the journey started for me.
Wow, that's fantastic. I think this section has been a bit touching for me. I've known Ambassador Young for a while, but we really have never talked so much about this. And I think a whole lot of us are learning from this experience. So we're going on a short commercial break to pay some bills while I enjoy the conversation with the young behind the scene. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back in GT.
Where I started working as a scavenger in Ajegunle. Before, when I become older, I decided to move to Ojota dump site, where they have all the refuse in Lagos. Before BBC, these producers find me singing, and when they find me singing, they decide to do a story on me. But the funny thing is that I don't get to know about it until people sent me a link to YouTube, and the story become a hit all over the world. So when the documentary was aired, people were just clamoring, vocal slender, vocal slender. If they said something I won't believe, they said, go to Google your name, go to YouTube, watch this documentary about you. That is when I get to see myself. I was just laughing. manager now said, you have this flair of giving people support. Why don't you start a foundation? And I say, okay. And I start my Get to Love Foundation, using music as a tool to inspire the people.
Get on youth, don't you ever give up.
I will just sing song that will tell the dream of Africa. I want people to come and invest and support the dream of building this skills acquisition where the poor people can come and learn these things for free. Your greatest breakthrough in life is education. And when you have that education, you use the social media. If your name is not in Google, I don't do business with you because I can't find you. I started without nothing, but with hard work, prayer, perseverance, I overcome. My message always to the people is, light up the light of knowledge and the darkness of ignorance will disappear.
Okay, so just think about this. Imagine there's a single platform where you can learn just about everything and anything, from motion graphics to brand and logo designs, even down to fashion, computer repairs, and so much more. And the good thing about this is that learning is at your comfort with just a click away. So, what are you waiting for? What's stopping you? Start learning today. Skill up, then it's quicker.
And we're back. So if you're just joining in, welcome to the Entreprenuers Hangout. And we still have here Ambassador Young, and he's telling us about his story and how he has been able to learn key lessons in life that has helped him to build a brand. Out of his pain, he was able to build something that is still impacting the life of so many people. And a lot of people have wonderful stories to say about him and how he has affected their life.
Yeah, I like to say mess the message.
Yeah,
and then,
like hashtag mess the message. Okay, so as we we're talking about challenges and how you got to a point where you realize that your certificate shouldn't be what defines you; it should be your goals. And so, what stumbles? As this is the Entrepreneurial Hangout, we still have to talk about business. What amazed me is that you were able to turn your pain point, not other people's pain point, into a business. Where did the idea come to start up personality development, ICPD, to go and further your learning on how to, help people be their better self? Where did it all start?
Okay, I would say it all started on the 10th of April 2014.
You're good with your stuff.
Those dates are very important to me because they were turning points in my life.
Okay.
So, in 2013, I was back in Lagos after the whole rustication thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was barely jogging from one business idea to the other. I've done a lot of things actually that people don't even know.
Wow.
Okay, at first I was doing PowerPoint presentation for final year students in school.
Wow.
So they were paying me 100 naira per slide, and I was borrowing systems to do that.
Serious?
Yeah.
Big boy, 100 per wait, is it full slide or one page of slide?
One slide per slide.
Wow.
So if I do 21 slides, that's 2,100. So I can give you a discount and do it for 1/8.
Wow.
So that was what I was doing back in school before I came back.
Okay, so if you're looking for business ideas, so that's something you can come about. Make sure you are, you are brainy, so you don't give people,
a wax slide.
Wax
something
slide.
very catchy,
Exactly.
beautiful. So I was doing 100 naira per slide. At some point, I was going through a lot because I was borrowing the system I was using. So sometimes I would have works piled up and I'm running around to get a system. Why people were always coming to me was because, one, I was doing research for them.
Mm-hmm.
When I do research, I also do the PowerPoint presentation. So what I did was, all the people that were coming to me, I was teaching them how to present their topics and all that. So over 90% of my clients got an A in their course.
Okay.
As in, so I became a top notch in that. People were always looking for me because I was very brilliant. I was handling 4 departments.
But hold on. So what happened? What led to the rustication? Because now we're saying it's not an academic issue. So what happened? What was the issue?
I don't like talking about this side, but then I will.
You don't want to.
I will talk about it. It was my cousin who worked my admission for me. And so she used fake results and didn't tell me.
And you had your results?
I had my O-level results. But she worked my admission and said I went through a polytechnic, all of that, and began to work my admission as direct entry. So when I got into school, the first day I paid when I was to pay my, what's it called? Acceptance fee. She said, fill 200 level. She called me on the phone and was instructing me what to do. Fill 200 level. I said, how? She said, just do as I told you. So from that moment, I was scared about my admission. I got my admission acceptance letter. I got admission. Everything was accurate, but I was scared all through school.
Wow.
So.
And had you known better at that point, I probably would have.
I would have just pulled out.
Yeah,
I would have pulled out. But I was also scared to pull out because we paid over 370,000 to get the admission, and it was my dad's life savings. So if I had pulled out, it means that meant that I wasn't going to school anymore. So we needed to just push it anyhow. And he was telling me that he has done it for a lot of people. They graduated. He started sending me to different people to go and ask. And I go, your sister was one that did my own. I'm going for service now. You know, I don't know if she cooked it with them or they were real, you know, but that was it. Why I don't like talking about it is because she's family. And so I don't like to mention her name or still because she's family. It's bygone. So it's gone, but we're still family.
Okay, back to what we're talking about.
So back then I was doing all of this for people, and I was helping a lot of people, so they were getting their A's and all that. But because I didn't have a system, that business suffered a lot of challenges. I had to close it down, and then I came to Lagos. When I went to Abuja, I did a seal that could replace a stamp for my idea. Back then, April 10, 2014 was actually a memorable day for me because I was watching Akila and the Bee. So I was watching Akila and the Bee. It got to 23 minutes, 20 seconds of the movie, and that place where it says, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are capable beyond measure. That quote struck something deep within me that I could not hold it back. So it's like I exuded all of the pain that has been stored inside of me, and I broke out in tears. I began to cry. I cried for nearly 2 hours. I was crying, I was praying, I was basking in tongues. I quickly ran out, picked a pen and a paper, and for the first time in my life, I drafted my company on the spot. Wow. It was Project Young. Young was Y-O-U-N-G, Youth Outreach for a Unique Next Generation. Wow. That was the formula of Young at the time, Y-O-U-N-G. So that was my first company. So I said, okay, what am I going to do with Young? I had Yverse. Yverse was a subsidiary under Young. Yverse was Young Viable Authentication Services. You know, I had Young's Consult. Young's Consult was
a lot of young.
Thank you, all the young. Okay, Young's Consult was the part of me that was always helping people for counseling. You know, so I took it as a consultation part of me. I had all the subsidiaries. Now, Yverse, that is Young Viable Authentication Services, basically at the time I was helping organizations to do seal. Corporate seal for their instead of stamp. I was able to do mine in Abuja, and I got it at a cheap rate. So I came back to Lagos to do it. But when I came back to Lagos to do it, I went to Mushin, all the places. I saw that they were using third parties. So they were producing it for the cost that I wanted to sell, and it was heartbreaking. I moved round and round. I couldn't get the direct people, and I noticed that they were in a
cluster,
let me say, committee, like a union. So those guys, before you get to meet them, you must be in their union. So it frustrated that work. I was doing it and I was getting stipends that was not enough. I remember one day I was in Mushi, I stood there and I cried. I said, God, what have I done? Why is life like this for me? That day, in that frustration, I thought of doing something very stupid. This should be off camera.
We're going to talk about it.
That should be off camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was mad. I almost lost it. I went nuts. And that was how I struggled with that. And it closed. That one too closed. I tried a few things here and there, and then I stopped. So it was in 2016, September, no, 2017 that I officially now moved from uh, Project Young
Project
to
Young.
ICPD.
Yeah.
I rebranded to ICPD, International Center for Personality Development. Meanwhile, I had said I had known that what I'm doing is personality development in December 2013.
But you didn't know the name to put to it.
No,
Okay,
that was
you
when
don't
I
name.
called it personality development for the first time. It was in December 2013. I was being trained by Mr. Alfred Konalge and the likes at Refinery Academy. So at the graduation of the Refinery Academy was when I announced that I have clarity now. What I want to do is personality development. That was December 2013. So it was in 2017 that I said, I want something that has to do with personality development and no more young. So I changed from Project Young to International Center for Personality Development. I said, I want to be known for personality development. And so that was how the journey into personality development started. I started attending trainings, became an NLP practitioner, became a family life coach. It cost me a lot. I remember investing over $500,000 for all of those trainings as we speak. Yes. Over
Hey,
half
people
a
that
million.
call for training sections, please be informed that as entrepreneurs, we spend so much time and money investing in ourselves.
Yeah, I tell you, a lot of
Respect us
investment.
and just help to hustle. Don't call us on free at all times. We have to make ends meet, okay?
Yeah, that's a very important one, please. There are bills to pay. That's why we have advanced session on this Hangout.
Exactly.
Okay, so I remember spending over $500,000 at the moment, training myself in different areas. I became hungry for knowledge as a result of what happened to me in school. So it seemed like I wanted to learn everything. If not that I was able to streamline that what I want to do is personality development, I probably would have started studying everything studyable.
To make sure you get your
Just because I wanted to cover up for that hole, So that was how it started out for me. And so I started trainings. I started sessions. Wonderfully for me, I was able to do sessions with people. I've helped a lot of people recover from drug addiction. Yes, I remember one of my clients. It was battling with tramadol. He couldn't help it. He takes beyond 1,200 grams per day.
About 4 tablets,
As in crazy. He was taking it consistently. At the moment, he doesn't even get close to it. It doesn't take it. It's about 5 months now, and he has never taken it again. Those kind of people, they are my testimony. They are the beauty of what I do. I remember another young girl who was thinking of going into prostitution because she got pregnant and was abandoned, and then she eventually aborted the baby, but she lost her esteem as a result of all this. And then she felt like there was no difference between her and the prostitute because things were not working. I remember how I helped her recover. Today she has a skill and she's trying to do one or two things, and quite a lot of those other people. So my business started as a result of trying to help other people recover the same way I've been in that point of pain.
I don't know. I think I knew this point was going to come, and that's why when I was thinking of questions to ask, I just knew that it had to come up. Personality development. How do you not get lost in people's pain? Because it can be a very tricky thing, and someone is telling you about a problem, you're trying to help them solve it, and there are some that are just so overpowering that, if you're not careful, or if you're not a professional, you can just, even a professional at times falls into that. So how do you not get lost in other people's pain? It's a deep question, right?
It's a very personal question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a deep question because I'm the kind of person I'm very straightforward. And so I don't say what I don't do or do what I don't say. Yes. For me, it's a function of principle. Have I gotten lost in people's pain? Yes. I remember in 2012, before I became a professional coach, it means that I've been helping people. Like I said, I've been doing it a long time. And so I remember a particular lady that I helped her for as long as a year while I was in school. And as I continued to help her, she got to a point, she said, it's not true. how is it possible that a guy would help you and not ask for anything in return? For her, it was because she was at that point where she had hated guys, but she now met this person who was willing to help her. You know, she was abandoned. She came now to that school environment. They rented a house for her with her child. So I was taking care of her and the child, that people began to think that I was the father of the child. And I was quite young then, younger than I am now, even though I'm still young. and so it got to a point when I was about leaving school. She didn't know about my rustication, anything. She became so sober that she felt like maybe there was something wrong with her that I didn't like. Because to her, it was absolutely abnormal for me not to have dated her, not to have touched her, or asked her out. We got to sleep on the same bed severally, and nothing happened. And so she began to feel like maybe something is wrong with or thank you. Yes, it's a statement of fact.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I had sex at the age of 17 was because some
we're not promoting sex.
Yes.
Young age sex. Okay?
We're not promoting that. But it's an experience, and it's important that I shared, because one of the books I wanted to write is how I had my first sex. You see that a lot of young people do these things out of pressure, not because they want to do it, not because that's why I'm sharing this now. Now at the time, it was because I went to visit my cousin, and there were these final year students, all of them girls. They were just talking about guys, sex, and all that. And I was there, I was just quiet. And then she just looked for trouble by saying, "Mona, no spoil my brother." And they just turn and say, "This fine boy, you mean he doesn't have girlfriend and he has not had sex? Better check if your brother is impotent." And that word hit me.
I think that's a crazy pain point for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
No jokes. Because once you just say that word,
jokes,
if you want to look for a guy, just saying, I think it just makes them go gaga. Seriously. So I can understand.
And so at that age, I became scared. I began to ask myself, because I'm the kind of person that a lady can sit on my lap and will just sit there and I will not feel anything, because I'm not focused on it. I found out that a lady interests me more when she's very smart and intelligent, more than when she's all nasty and being loose. I just get pissed off. So all of that doesn't get to me. So that moment I became scared, and I asked myself, maybe that's the reason why I don't even move when ladies try to, and I wanted to know if I was impotent or not. That was what led to.
You wanted to check yourself.
And after that experience, I hated myself for that. I hated that I did that. So this lady was in that place where she was beginning to put me in that place again, where it was like, what's happening? So sometimes I can get lost in people's pain. Do you understand? Before I became a professional coach, I didn't know to apply therapy on myself the way I was applying on other people.
So that's how
I didn't even know. Yes, I didn't even know I didn't even know the application of therapy. So now I know the application of therapy. So I know how to apply therapy on myself. I know how to place what we call an anchor on myself. An anchor is like, maybe you're in a point of pain, and I don't know, have you ever heard a song that reminds you of some moment in your life? So maybe you are not happy, but you just play this song and you get peace. That song is an anchor for peace in your life. So anytime you know that, okay, this song now gives me peace, allows me to enjoy peace, you know that it's a tool for you. So like I have this song that whenever I want to really get in the spirit, I want to go in the spirit or meditate, or even when I want to apply therapy on people and I want to be in my sane mind, I use that song. It helps me stay in check. It's an anchor. Before, at that time, I didn't know all of these anchors, all of these therapy tools and all that.
And so those were the challenges and the mistakes you made
in my early. So I would say that as a result of trying to help that lady, I also got soaked up in her own business, because at some point I had to make her understand that, okay, it's not like there's something wrong with you, I don't love you, but I just haven't considered it. And then it became so much of a pressure that I had to give into it. You see? So there are a lot of young coaches too. I'm saying this for entrepreneur coaches who are in that place, because it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. I know the story of a coach who was actually working with a client, a male client, and the male client happened to have been so heartbroken that it got to her personally, because she probably had gone through that sort of experience. So in trying to sympathize with the guy was crying, and she just tried to hug her. From that moment, they made out, and she got pregnant. It crashed her coaching career. It's a very dicey, delicate career. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for your honesty in sharing. Because as I said, I don't know something when I was just thinking about it. Like, I feel people that are into things that touch people's life in a point get lost in it. So how don't you get lost in it? So we'll be going on a short commercial break, and then we'll come back to our run it up section where we'll be talking to us about how it's making impact in the world at large and in his community.
To be a successful entrepreneur is to set daring and bold goals, to value time, to bear responsibility for the results, to foresee what the client needs tomorrow, to believe in what you are doing and deliver better than others, to turn every client into a regular customer, to value the trust of your client, always keep to time and improve in the quality of your service daily, always do research and find out something new, to process big amount of data quickly, have thousands of ideas but pick the best one, to solve customers' problems, always anticipate and exceed their expectations, to collaborate only with the best team around, to help clients earn more, to work in a global community. Always remember, our client's success is our success.
Okay, so just think about this. Imagine there's a single platform where you can learn just about everything and anything, from motion graphics to brand and logo designs, even down to fashion, computer repairs, and so much more. And the good thing about this is that learning is at your comfort with just a click away. So, what are you waiting for? What's stopping you?
To me, Africa's worst problem isn't corruption. Neither is it mismanagement of our natural resources or political issue. But our worst problem is poverty. And this problem is rooted as a result of lack of skills.
True development in an economy can only happen if the right set of skills to cause the transformation in various sectors of that economy to happen is there in the hands of people that need those skills. Now, in those days, trade between countries, the factor of trade between countries are mainly resources, natural or physical resources that people can touch. But in this age and time, the resources that thrive, that sell, that cause true transformation to happen are those intellectual property. Take the Android phone, for example. See how it has caused a huge form of transformation even in the way people live their life, and also in the economy of the people that came together and came up with it. The internet is also a product of intellectual property. It has reformed the way people live their life, and also it has also caused that level of transformation in the economy of people. Now, Skill Hub is a product of intellectual property that creates that connection between skillful people and unskillful people, in a sense making skillful people visible and making people that desire to be skillful that needs and also needs the required skill to cause transformation in their lives and also in the economy to meet with those people that can give them the skill. Now, this is from evidence. This is what Africa really needs to cause the disease that is suffering from, which is poverty and some other things that are outlined to solve the problem of Africa.
So how do I see the bigger picture of Skill Hub in solving? Okay, welcome back, and it's still the Entrepreneurs Hangout. If you're just joining us, you've missed a lot. So please, after the end of this program, you can rewatch the video on our Facebook page, Ajegunle Business School and skillup.ng. So we still have Mr. Ambassador Young. I don't know, Mr. Ambassador Young. Okay, Ambassador Young.
I guess people do that a lot. It just makes me laugh.
Exactly, because they are both titles. Okay, so we still have him here, and it's been a very expository section with him. So one of the things I read in your profile was about Neuro-Linguistic. So could you tell us what Neuro-Linguistic is about, what it does, and why you decided to get it as part of your personality development section, I guess?
Okay. You see, the core of everybody's personality is encoded in their thought pattern. So Neuro-Linguistic programming is the program that reads the language of your thoughts, your neurons. So linguistic in that sense is language, programming. So there's the programming of thought patterning for every human. So it was essential that I understood this so that when people are talking, I understand. I'm able to trace it down to self-esteem issues. I'm able to trace it down to, I'm able to read in between the lines, get the codes, and merge it up and say, oh, this is what this person is going through. And so sometimes I tell them, have you been in this place before? They're like, how did you know? I could know because I was reading what you're saying and what you were not saying. And so as a trained coach, you're hearing what people are saying and what they are also not saying. So that was why it was essential that I did neuro-linguistic programming. It was essential that I did neuro-cognitive consonance. So that's why I read neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay, I guess Ambassador Young will be organizing a program pretty soon on some of this stuff. So if you're interested in, someone that's going through a lot of pain, as I said, is an entrepreneur as well as is a therapist. So if you're going through any form of pain and you feel you need therapy, you have personality disorders, you have a low self-esteem, please reach out to Ambassador Young. On Facebook is that, please share your social media.
Okay, on Facebook is at Amb Young Anyanwu. That is Anyanwu.young on Facebook, please. And then on Instagram, I am AmbYoungAnyanwu. That is I am Ambassador Young Anyanwu on Instagram. And on Twitter, it's Young's Consult. The consult there is KZULTZ.
Yeah, so it also goes out for training. So if you have seminars, you have trainings, you like him to be part of your trainers, talk to people and help them get their personality in order, he'll be more than willing to be on board. And then we'll get a 10% interest on that.
That's fine. Okay.
Okay.
As far as you say Skin Hub, you say Entrepreneurs Hangout, we're good to go.
Oh, so you're getting a discount. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Meanwhile, you talked about what I do in the community. I thought it's
yes. Yeah. So one of the things we do at the Entrepreneurs Hangout is we believe as an entrepreneur, you should be having impact in your society, in the country where you're from, in the community where you belong to, and in Africa at large and the world. So it's a quick question. What are you doing to make your country better? What have you done to impact people?
Okay, when I returned from school in 2013, one of the major things that hit me was the number of teenage pregnancies that I had surrounding me.
We're going to have someone going to talk about it's crazy, really crazy.
Yeah, and that was for the female version, but for the male version, it was the number of internet fraudulence and drug abuse that was ongoing. And it got to me personally. I remember one day sitting down in my house and looking through the mirror. I saw two girls pass, both pregnant.
What's
about
their age?
2 years older than I was. I think I was 19, they were 17 or so at the time. And I looked at them and I began to cry as I was the one that impregnated them. It was very personal to me. That's why in 2016 I decided to go live about my story of resuscitation for the first time. And I wrote my book, Beyond the Classroom. Beyond the Classroom for me was to share my story of how I went through school and failed out of school per se, because I do not believe in failure. In life there are no failures, only feedback. In life there are no failures, only feedback. I use that a lot during therapy, and it has helped a lot of people recover, knowing that they can get feedback from the things that happen to them and move on with life. Okay, so I realized that this was a critical situation, so it made me start my conference, Step Up Conference. And so Step Up Conference was designed basically to help people chart a new course and also begin to improve the standard of the society. As we launched Step Up Conference on the 27th of February 2016, the day after my birthday. I used it to mark my 23rd birthday actually, and that was the first time I ever cut a cake. Yeah. And then in 2017 I did it again, and this time it was 28th of February, because last Saturday of the month of February, and we did it again on the 28th of February 2000. The first was 25th, the second was 28th, 2017, and then we just did the last one on the 27th of October 2018. Now that conference, basically after the first year and second year, we wanted to launch a new Ajegunle flag in the second year and a new Ajegunle logo, and so we couldn't get it done.
This is the community he is in. That's Ajegunle. That's the community he's from, and then he's trying to say how he has been able to impact the community.
Yes.
And that's
so as a result of that, The upper year, I teamed up with a number of friends. Prince of that War, he has been on this platform before too.
Yeah, we had him.
And then we, Stanley Afomeje and Ijoba Jeko, then myself. The four of us, we teamed up and then we said, let's see how we can chart a course and bring about a new Ajegunle. And so we started the new Ajegunle project. And the new Ajegunle project basically was to look at organizations, entrepreneurs, political leaders, different sectors in the society, and began to see how we could enhance them by introducing policies that could help all of these people become more formidable at what they do. And so we started the new Ajegunle movement, and the new Ajegunle movement also was targeted towards helping or changing the narrative of the community of Ajegunle, because we noticed that a lot of young people have been stigmatized in the community of Ajegunle. And so you take a proposal. I have a lot of proposals that have been turned down, some running into millions, and they were all turned down because the moment they see Ajegunle, they believe that you cannot be bidding for this kind of contract in this community. You go carry money run and all of those things. And so because of that kind of stigma, we said, no, we need to change the narrative. Some of us are not ready to leave right now, and some of us don't even have the resources to leave. Doesn't mean that we'll stay here and not be able to do anything. So we started the new Ajegunle movement to be able to rewrite the narrative of the community of Ajegunle. And so we started the website newajegunle.com.ng, where we put up very interesting, positive stories of the community of Ajegunle, all the good things that are happening here. Luckily for us, a lot of good things started happening at the same time, except for the high violence rate, and that was because of the electioneering period and all of that is ongoing. But beyond that, a lot of good things have been happening. For example, it was when we started the new Ajegunle movement that we got the commissioning of the Maracana Stadium so that they want to come and start working on it. We were able to visit the Assistant Commissioner of Police, and he shared a lot of things with us and told us how they were going to introduce a new security system into Ajegunle, and were able to give him expository details of some of the black spots in Ajegunle and all that. We've also been able to propose a new Ajegunle flag, anthem and logo to the government, and they loved it. We also talked about enhancing platforms for entrepreneurs, people who were already on ground, so that they can begin to enhance their work, because it's not just about us as individuals. We are a tribe of people, who should be able to speak for each other in love, because for us the new Ajegunle is about love, where we stand for each other in love as our own security and watchmen for one another. So we started the movement in New Ajegunle. So far, the conference has been able to host over 1,000 young people in the community of Ajegunle, and in attendance from the first year to the third year, and it's beginning to cause a lot of attention and waves. And very interestingly, we also have quite a lot of people who have been through the community of Ajegunle and now very successful. They feel like this is an opportunity for them to now begin to reinvest in the Ajegunle community and say, in fact, one of them told us, Chief Michael Urobota Obodo, the CEO of Mikura Services, told us, he said, I feel like a failure seeing what you guys are doing right now, because you guys are putting so much energy to change what we could not change in our time. Resources. Yes, with limited resources. And then I told him, I said, you people have set the path. We are just taking over from you. I think your role now is to see how you can fund what young people are doing, so that we all collectively begin to make this happen for us. So basically, that's what I have been doing in my community, and so far, it has won me a lot of awards, and that's why I can proudly say I'm the award-winning school dropout.
That's why the profile is very, very long. It's alright. So before we round it up, it's not all business, or being all businessy. There's not, for lack of use, another word to use. So we need to do something funny, something to make us laugh, tell us a joke. You can't dance because you're sitting. Just something that will excite people at home and they get to see another part of you.
Okay.
Don't laugh, because you're very popular with laughter.
I'm very popular with laughter.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's all good. I'll do two if I can. Let's see. I remember back then when I don't know if this will be funny, but I just hope it is.
Okay. You have my laughter already.
Okay, so I remember back then I couldn't laugh very, like in the public. I was always very shy to laugh. I would laugh like this. Because I was hiding something. But luckily I began to grow, personality development and all of that. And they used to laugh at me that my gum was so big. I was ashamed. Until one girl now told me that I had a pink gum and that when I radiate with my lip, that she liked it. I was like, whoa. So I went to look at the mirror, and since then I've been able to.
Okay, shout out to that girl. Thank you for giving him, confidence to laugh more.
And so now I can even.
Right? It's okay.
Then joke number 2. I've been a teacher a long time, and so there's this joke I always say. There was a time that when I was in London actually, and
I want to hear this.
Just allow me to tell my joke. And so when I was in London, I had this cat, this kitten. It was very beautiful. And I had it basically because I didn't want rats in my house.
Wow.
And so it was always there to make sure there were no rats. So one day I kept bread in the house and I don't know what ate it. So when I came back, I asked the cat, who ate my bread? And it said, the rat. I said, so you're in this house and a rat ate my bread. It means that your purpose has been defeated. I don't want you in this house again. And I got angry, so I threw the cat out of the window. Guess what? It was snowing at the time. So the cat stayed outside. I began to cry and began to beg me to allow it back in. Guess what? The cat was crying. Mr. Meow! Are you serious? Mr. Meow! Are you sure? That was Mr. Anyanwu, actually.
Are you sure it's not what he said? Anyway, when did you come back to Nigeria? Let's get back. When did you come back to Nigeria? Since you're in London. It's alright. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And yes, it's the Entrepreneurs Hangout where we talk to people that have been through entrepreneurship, are still on the process, and and they're still keeping up the struggle and making an impact in their community. Shout out to Ajegunle Business School for having us here, and also shout out to Skill Hub for this opportunity for people to learn. So we meet again next week with another exciting personality to talk to. Peace out. Your final word.
Okay, I'd like to say this. One of my most prized quotes by me is that success is not about rising all through. It's about combining the joy of failure with the ego of rising. So life was never designed to be all rosy. Failure is a part of the learning curve. You have to now understand and put in your shock absorber because it's going to hit you every now and then at every point in life. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ambassador Young, and see you guys next week. Please, if you have questions, please put it down. We're going to get this across to him. If you have feedback, we'd like to hear from you. And also, if you want to advertise on the Entrepreneurs Hangout, just send us a message below on the comment section, and we'll definitely get back to you. See you next week, the same time. Peace out. Have a lovely week. Bye. Okay, here. Yeah.